Have you ever wondered why the moment you stop being available for everyone, people suddenly begin to value your time? It's one of life's quietest paradoxes. The more you sacrifice your schedule, your peace, and your priorities just to be there whenever someone calls, the more your presence slowly becomes expected instead of appreciated. You tell yourself you're being kind, reliable, selfless. But somewhere along the way, people stop seeing your generosity as a gift and start treating it like an obligation. The painful truth is that constantly being available doesn't always make you more loved. Sometimes, it simply makes you easier to overlook. The strongest people aren't difficult to reach because they're arrogant. They're not distant because they enjoy making others wait. They simply understand that their time, energy, and attention are among the most valuable things they possess, and they refuse to give them away without intention. Hello everyone, welcome to the Magnetic Masculinity channel. In this video, we'll uncover the hidden psychological power of not always being available, why healthy boundaries create deeper respect, and how protecting your time may be the very thing that transforms your relationships and your life forever. Now, let's get started. Part 1. Every time you say yes, you may be saying no to yourself. Most people believe that always being available is a sign of kindness. Answer every call. Reply to every message. Cancel your plans when someone suddenly needs you. Never let anyone feel disappointed. At first, it feels like the right thing to do. You tell yourself you're being supportive, dependable, and generous. And perhaps you are. But over time, something subtle begins to happen. Without realizing it, you teach people that your time has no boundaries. They stop asking if you're free because they simply assume you will be. Your priorities become flexible, while everyone else's seem fixed. Little by little, your own life begins to revolve around other people's schedules. And the saddest part is that it happens so gradually, you barely notice. You become so accustomed to being everyone's solution that you forget you also need time to solve your own problems. The book you wanted to read remains unopened. The workout you promised yourself gets postponed again. The dream you've carried for years waits quietly in the corner while you continue responding to every request that seems urgent, but rarely changes your life. This is how people lose themselves, not through one dramatic decision, but through thousands of small moments where they consistently place everyone else's needs ahead of their own. There is nothing noble about abandoning yourself. Real generosity does not require self-neglect. The healthiest people understand that their energy is limited. Every hour they give away is an hour they can never reclaim. Every unnecessary obligation costs them attention they could have invested in their health, their family, their purpose, or simply their peace of mind. That is why emotionally mature people learn a difficult but life-changing lesson. You don't have to be available all the time to prove that you care. Sometimes the most respectful thing you can do, for yourself and for others, is to protect your time with quiet confidence. Because people often value what is given intentionally far more than what is available endlessly. And the moment you stop treating your own life as the least important appointment on your calendar, the people around you begin to recognize that your time is valuable too. The greatest act of self-respect is not saying yes to everyone. It is learning when to say not today without feeling guilty. Part 2. Scarcity creates appreciation, even in human relationships. There is a principle that quietly shapes almost everything people value. Things that are constantly available are often taken for granted. Things that require patience, intention, and respect tend to be appreciated far more. This isn't just true for money, opportunities, or rare possessions. It also applies to your time, your attention, and your emotional energy. Think about the people who seem to carry a quiet sense of value wherever they go. They are not rushing to answer every text within seconds. They don't abandon their priorities the moment someone calls. They are fully present when they choose to be, but they are not endlessly accessible. That difference matters. Being unavailable is not the same as being uncaring. It means your life has structure. It means your commitments have weight. It means your promises to yourself are just as important as the promises you make to others. Many people confuse constant availability with love, but love without boundaries often turns into expectation. The more you train people to expect immediate access to your time, the less they stop to appreciate the sacrifice behind it. What was once received with gratitude slowly becomes normal. And once something becomes normal, it is easy to overlook. This is why resentment quietly grows inside so many generous people. They begin asking themselves, why does no one appreciate everything I do? The answer is often painful, because they have been giving so much for so long that others no longer recognize it as a gift. Healthy relationships work differently. Mutual respect grows when both people understand that each person's time has value. They don't demand instant responses. They don't measure love by constant availability. Instead, they recognize that a meaningful life includes responsibilities, personal goals, moments of solitude, and time to recharge. Ironically, protecting your time often strengthens your relationships instead of weakening them. People begin to approach you with greater intention. Conversations become more meaningful because they are no longer driven by habit. Your presence feels genuine because it is freely given, not automatically expected. And perhaps the most powerful realization is this: when you stop making yourself available for everything, you become fully available for what truly matters. That is where peace begins, not in doing more for everyone else, but in finally giving your best energy to the life you are trying to build. Before we go any further, pause for a moment and ask yourself this: how many times have you put your own life on hold just because you were afraid of disappointing someone else? If today's message is making you see yourself in a new light, subscribe to the channel and become part of a community that values self-respect, emotional strength, and the courage to live with healthy boundaries. Remember, protecting your peace doesn't make you selfish. It makes you wise. Now let's continue, because the next lesson may completely change the way you think about your time, your relationships, and the value of your own presence. Part 3. The moment you stop being constantly available, you discover who truly respects you. There comes a moment in many people's lives when they decide, almost by accident, to stop saying yes to everything. Not because they are angry, not because they want to punish anyone, but because they are simply exhausted. And something unexpected begins to happen. The phone doesn't ring as often. Some conversations disappear overnight. Certain people who once claimed you were so important suddenly become strangely silent. At first it hurts. You wonder if you've done something wrong. You question whether setting boundaries has made you less likable. You even feel tempted to return to your old habits, replying instantly, rearranging your schedule, and making yourself available once again just to restore the attention you used to receive. But don't rush. What you're witnessing isn't the loss of genuine relationships. It's the disappearance of relationships that depended on unlimited access to your time. That difference is life-changing. Some people appreciate you because of who you are. Others appreciate you because of what you consistently do for them. The two are not the same. When you are always available, it becomes difficult to tell the difference. Your constant presence hides the true foundation of the relationship. But once your time becomes limited, people's responses reveal far more than their words ever did. Those who genuinely care will understand that you have responsibilities, dreams, and moments when you simply need rest. They won't interpret your boundaries as rejection. They won't demand that your entire world revolve around them. Instead, they'll respect your space because they value you, not just your availability. Others may react differently. They may call you distant. They may accuse you of changing. They may even try to make you feel guilty for protecting your own time. But often, guilt is the final tool used by people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. You don't have to become defensive. You don't have to explain every decision. Quiet consistency is enough. The people who belong in your life will adjust to the healthier version of you. The ones who only valued your constant availability may quietly drift away. And while that can feel painful in the beginning, it is also incredibly freeing. Because every relationship that survives honest boundaries becomes stronger, healthier, and built on mutual respect rather than silent obligation. Perhaps that is the hidden gift of not always being available. It doesn't just protect your peace, it reveals the people who were always meant to walk beside you, and gently uncovers those who only stayed because your door was never closed. Part 4. A life filled with purpose leaves no room for constant availability. One of the most noticeable differences between people who are emotionally grounded and those who constantly seek approval is not confidence. It is how they protect their time. People with purpose rarely announce that they are busy. They don't make a performance out of having a full schedule, nor do they use busyness to appear important. Instead, they quietly devote themselves to the things that give their lives meaning. Their mornings belong to their discipline. Their evenings belong to their family, their health, or their dreams. Their attention is invested carefully because they understand a truth that many people learn far too late. Every yes carries the hidden cost of 100 unseen no's. Every hour spent trying to satisfy expectations is an hour that cannot be invested in becoming the person you hope to be 5 years from now. That realization changes the way you live. You stop measuring your value by how needed you are. Instead, you begin measuring it by how faithfully you honor the commitments you've made to yourself. At first, this feels uncomfortable. There will be moments when you decline an invitation and wonder if people will misunderstand you. There will be times when you leave messages unanswered because you're fully present with your work, your children, your parents, or simply your own thoughts. The old version of you would have apologized for that. The wiser version understands that not every delay requires an explanation. Maturity is realizing that your life cannot flourish if every interruption is treated as an emergency. The truth is, most things people label as urgent can wait a few hours. Your peace should not have to. And something remarkable happens when you begin living this way. You become more present in every moment. When you work, you truly work. When you rest, you truly rest. When you spend time with someone, they receive your full attention instead of the distracted fragments of a mind pulled in 10 different directions. Ironically, by becoming less available, you become far more valuable, not because people see less of you, but because every moment they do spend with you carries intention, depth, and authenticity. That is the quiet power of purpose. It teaches you that your time is not something to fill. It is something to invest. And once you begin treating your life like your greatest responsibility, the world gradually learns to treat it with the same respect. Part 5. The most powerful person in the room is the one who owns their time. As life goes on, you begin to notice something that most people never see. The individuals who leave the deepest impression are rarely the ones who are always available. They are the ones who have learned the quiet art of protecting what cannot be replaced. Their time, their attention, their peace. These people don't rush through life trying to satisfy every expectation placed upon them. They understand that every day is made up of a limited number of hours, and once those hours are gone, no amount of money, success, or regret can ever bring them back. That realization changes the way they live. They no longer confuse being busy with being meaningful. They stop saying yes simply because they feel guilty. They stop carrying responsibilities that were never theirs to begin with. Instead, they choose carefully, not because they care less, but because they finally understand that caring about everyone else means very little if you have completely stopped caring for yourself. Many people spend years believing that they will eventually find peace once everyone approves of them. But approval has no finish line. There will always be another expectation to meet, another favor to grant, another person asking for more of your time. If your self-worth depends on never disappointing anyone, you will spend your entire life disappointing yourself. That is a price too high to pay. The people who truly respect you will never expect you to sacrifice your health, your purpose, or your peace just to prove your loyalty. They understand that a meaningful relationship is not measured by constant access. It is measured by mutual respect. And perhaps this is the greatest secret behind not always being available. It is not about becoming harder to reach. It is about becoming harder to distract from the life you are intentionally building. Because when your purpose becomes stronger than your fear of disappointing others, something extraordinary happens. You stop living reactively. You stop allowing every notification to dictate your emotions. You stop letting every request become your responsibility. Instead, you begin living with clarity, with intention, with freedom. Ironically, this is often when people begin to value your presence more than ever before. Not because you've become rare for the sake of appearance, but because every moment you choose to give is genuine, undivided, and freely offered. In the end, the hidden power of not always being available has very little to do with changing other people's behavior. It has everything to do with changing your own life. The day you stop giving your time away without purpose is the day you begin owning the one thing that has always been priceless. And once you truly own your time, you no longer feel controlled by the expectations of others. You become the author of your own days, the guardian of your own peace, and the architect of a life that no longer revolves around pleasing everyone else, but around becoming the person you were meant to be. Conclusion. The hidden power of not always being available has never been about making people miss you. It has always been about remembering that your time, your energy, and your peace are precious. The moment you stop giving them away without intention, you begin living with greater clarity, stronger self-respect, and deeper purpose. Some people may not understand your boundaries, and that's okay. The people who truly value you will never ask you to lose yourself just to keep them comfortable. In the end, the greatest freedom isn't having more time. The lesson to remember. If you take only one lesson from this video, let it be this. Your life becomes more meaningful the moment you stop treating your time as if it belongs to everyone else. Protect your mornings, guard your peace, invest your energy in your health, your family, your purpose, and the dreams that make your life worth living. You don't have to be available to everyone in order to be a good person. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is say no to distractions so you can say yes to the life you were meant to build. If this message spoke to your heart, don't let it end here. Put one healthy boundary into practice today and notice how your life begins to change. And if you found value in this video, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support inspires us to continue creating meaningful content that helps you build inner strength, emotional wisdom, and a life filled with purpose. Thank you for taking the time to watch until the end of the video. See you in the next videos.